everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Arm Barn Podcast. Didn't go last week, so we're going to kind of do like a draft recap, talk about the draft a little bit, what picks we liked, go through the first round here, talk a little bit about just what our teams did, how, things we're excited about heading into the season post-draft. And then we'll kind of fire it up with some baseball stuff, some current events, just talk sports in general. But first, let's kind of get into it here. Obviously, there's a reason why we didn't go last week. It's because Allie, everybody, we were kind of all over the place with the bridal shower, which was awesome. Everything, like, how did everything go? I mean, was getting updates from the boys' weekend, but everything went okay during the boys' weekend?
Boys' weekend was good. Nolan cried the entire time at T-ball sitting on the bench. So that was fine. But yeah, no, I know the girls had a great time. Brooklyn loved every second of it. We had to like detox her from being the center of attention, basically, when she got home.
I bet literally at one point, don't get me wrong, obviously Reagan was in the room as well. But at some point, obviously Reagan's not doing too much. She was kind of just hanging out, crawling around a little bit, just hanging out. Brooklyn probably for about 45 minutes to an hour. Everybody was here. Mr. Van Genup, John, everybody was at our apartment, and she was just going off the entire time. She was going through our stuff. She had our bowls on her head that we got. She's running around. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. She was literally delirious because she was probably a little tired. It was hysterical for a while. Same thing with Reagan. It was cool because Brooklyn was awesome at the shower. She broke out of her shell after a little bit, but it was kind of obviously a lot of people. There was like 40 people down there in that room. So Reagan, was kind of overwhelmed. She wasn't crying or nothing, but she kind of just wanted to be by Allie. Wasn't really sure what was going on. And then when she got here, that's when Mrs. Van Genup, everybody really saw her kind of personality, and she was like full-fledged chilling, crawling around, laughing and stuff, and it was awesome. It was like a lot of fun. We had a great weekend. Anthony's was here too. We ended up getting pizza. Did they mention the pizza at all?
The pizza's good.
Oh my gosh. We didn't I've gotten the place that we got like 2 or maybe 3 times. It's Cole's favorite place, but her family likes a different place. So they don't get it that often. It's called Fox's, and it's almost like, this is why you can't really compare Chicago pizza to New York pizza, because it's just different. It's almost like if they were to do like if you were to it's basically like almost like chips. It's like, that's almost like how the pizza is. It's like there's like these tiny little squares. They're super flaky. It's almost like baked on like a croissant type crust. And it's like one bite. You can just slug down like, 30 squares and it's like nothing. Everybody crushed it. It's legit. It actually really is legit. So maybe we'll get that Thursday night when you guys get here. We'll bring some Fox's pizza up, because seriously, it's like actually fire. What's up, y'all? Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Arm Barn Podcast. If you like G Fuel or would like to try the official drink of esports, use the code TheArmBarn at gfuel.com today. For my caffeine people, there's going to be some awesome products like the energy tubs and the energy cans. And then for my no caffeine people, there's also going to be some great products for hydration. So check that out today at gfuel.com and use the code TheArmBarn. But yeah, no, everybody was kind of pumped about the pizza, but overall, really, really good weekend. Everything went smooth too. Like, really couldn't have. There was nothing. It was like literally, it was like literally no drama, no nothing. It was great. But okay, let's get into Carson's T-ball. Give me kind of the details. How's it going? We're really pumped about next week, or this week, whatever you want to call it. I'm pumped to see the videos and just kind of see what he looks like out there in that field, which is cool. But yeah, kind of fill us in on Carson's T-ball and how coaching's going.
Coaching's going well, for the most part. Obviously, there's roughly 8 games total throughout the season. So what I've noticed is that right around the middle seems to be the time when the team seems to be peaking. I think the kids are fully invested, and then as the back end comes around, it seems like the kids and a lot of the parents too kind of like taper off, because it goes on.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're busy on practice night. All of a sudden,
right? Which obviously, we're not about. Um,
No.
hence why I'm coaching. But bottom line is this week. Well, so last week during the bridal shower weekend, it was definitely probably a down week. There just wasn't as much focus. It seemed to be everyone was kind of trending in the direction I just spoke about. But this week, dude, it was honestly great. Like all the kids locked in. They even made some outs on defense, which for 4 and 5 year old t-ball is like few and far between. Yeah,
Non-existent. Yeah,
few and far between.
non-existent.
So, and then just speaking on Carson individually, I mean, dude, this week just line drives left and right. So
Let's go. Yeah,
yeah,
no, the one video you
bombs.
sent
I
me was
mean,
smoked.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
smoking
that's
balls,
sick.
and it continues to be cool because I get to see obviously what he does. When we practice all the time. But now that we've been through almost the entire season, you get to see a bunch of other kids, and just to see the difference is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that is sick. I've even thought about like I don't know how I would execute it. I haven't like looked into it too
yeah,
much, or how much it would cost me, how intricate it would be, how complicated it would be, but like, just not even, based on what you're saying about T-ball, obviously completely different
right.
story, but you know, I've been talking to a lot of kids about their summer ball plans, about their high school situation. This is my first season where I'm hearing this from kids
Yeah,
on a pretty big sample
yeah,
size, obviously, right? And all different parts of the country. And if like I could if I could literally just like scream as loud as I could at everybody, like let's say as a freshman or something like that, like you should just play for the coach that's gonna develop you the best.
hundred percent.
It would literally wouldn't matter if you didn't play an entire like it wouldn't play a game or one of those crazy tournaments for the entire summer, but you had a coach where you guys had 18 guys or 20 guys and you guys were inter squatting twice a week and you guys could do get work in, really like actually execute stuff, and then let's say do play weekend tournaments,
Yeah,
like that would be great.
right.
That's what I would want to do, is like almost practice 1 or 2 times a week and then just play some weekend
Yeah,
tournaments, and like or even just play a couple games during the week where it's Monday through Friday, join a league, practice the 2 days that you don't play through Monday through Friday, have weekends off, for your summer as a kid to do whatever the heck you want. Like the schedules that these kids go through,
right,
it's nuts.
right.
It's literally nuts, how many games they're going to be playing. And I don't know how I would execute it, but I would love to do something like that to where I would just join a league, get 15 kids, and just go out there and like, because they'd get so much better over that course of that summer.
Right,
It'd be insane. Even if they just came in not good at all,
right.
honestly. But yeah, I don't know. That would be sick. And just based on everything I'm hearing about like the high school baseball world and how it's, because what you probably don't even know yet is that, dude, there's literally like, and you probably have heard
Yeah,
small things in Arizona about this, but I didn't realize it was everywhere. Like if you're part of a high school team
yeah.
and you want to make varsity and you want to get playing time, you have to put more money into that coach's pocket and play for his summer
Play for
ball
his
team.
summer ball team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, yo, that's why I feel like I would be doing a disservice, an injustice to the baseball world by not getting into coaching and not having some sort of effect on some of these kids. Like I'm saying, literally like on the field and in a
right.
game and stuff like that. Because, dude, how is that like not the most selfish shit that you've ever heard in your
Oh, for
life?
sure.
Like that is, I cannot believe that exists.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's probably great ones out
Of
there
course.
to where they don't charge a lot. They probably execute good, and
Right.
it's good for the kids. But the amount of kids that probably suffer from that is insane. And the fact that they make it mandatory and then let it affect their high school experience and playing time, it's so stupid that they are starting to merge high school baseball and
And
travel
travel
baseball.
ball.
It's the stupidest thing ever.
I think to that point as well, right? Speaking from two guys that, basically just went from playing multiple sports to just locking down on baseball because at the time that was kind of the thing, right? And then also, the way that our parents looked at it once we had the scholarships and stuff, they didn't want to mess anything up, which to an extent I understand, right? But now you're thrown in this factor of you need to play for, your high school coach over the summer and summer ball. So then if you don't play summer ball because you want to play another sport, like you're prepping for football, or you just need some time off to get in the weight room to get ready for football or whatever your fall sport is, and you don't want to play summer ball, well then fast forward to the next year, you may not see the same playing time simply because the coach is just annoyed that you didn't play summer ball and throw the money at him.
Yes, and then too, like your leash. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of
Yeah.
kids. Like they'll tell me that like they started the season as a starter, they were playing well, had like a bad week,
Boom.
boom,
Done. Yeah.
gone, down back down to JV if they're a sophomore or a freshman, or just like kind of not playing.
Right.
Like I have a lot of those types of kids, and then I'm starting to field questions where it's like, should I play high school baseball? Should I even bother doing that?
Yeah.
And there's been instances where like even Dan has said where it's like a benefit to these kids. And we'll get into this. This is kind of a good segue. We'll kind of cut it off here
Yeah.
because this is something that we can easily, and a good topic we can talk about with Dan.
Absolutely.
Because next week on the show. So that was not on purpose, everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who listens to
Segue.
this, but a good segue into next week is I'm gonna get Dan Mooney, who's works above me in the little program that we do for the Baseball Factory. Played obviously professional baseball, like crazy amount of experience in the recruiting world. So yeah, we'll get Dan on here. We'll definitely talk some youth baseball and talk like things that he sees, because it'll be cool because he's in a really, really good spot.
Right.
Where he is in Florida. I mean, they do things right down there in terms of the sports, in terms of like not turning guys into a little bit of softies. Everybody gets playing time, things like that. They do run it pretty well down there.
Yeah.
So a lot of these questions, a lot of these things will be good for him next week. But yeah, let's get into some of the NFL draft stuff. Just start getting into this. And then we will bring it back to baseball a little bit, but just not youth baseball anymore here at the end. But all right, let's kind of do this. All right, first of all, I guess the easiest place to start is obviously first overall with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
What do you got there? Like, what do you think? You think he's going to be like good out the gate in terms of like serviceable?
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think it's going to go for him rookie year?
Yeah, no, I mean, Panthers are already saying right now that Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback. So
I know,
which ridiculous. Bryce Young is going to be the starter.
Yeah.
I mean, intellectually, he's probably top of the class, pretty much hands down on that. The dude can play. Literally, what it comes down to for him is just his size, and is he going to be able to stay healthy? They put together good pieces around him. They put together a really good coaching staff down there. So now it's just a matter of, can he stay healthy and be able to get the reps to then become, worthy of the number 1 overall pick. But dude, I think, I mean, again, I thought for a little bit there it was going to be Stroud, but the last couple of weeks leading up to the draft, it was clear at that point that Bryce Young was the pick. So
I totally agree. And I think he's going to be all right. I think he'll be decent. I really just don't know because like it's so tough because some guys it takes them a second. Some guys can come in and do pretty well. And the thing that I do think he has going for him is that division. I don't think his division's the greatest, right? What is that? The Saints?
Yeah. So Saints,
Carolina, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Yeah. I mean, I don't love that division in terms of like quarterbacks, especially.
No.
So, I mean, Derek Carr is probably considered the best quarterback in that division now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, I mean, I think Bryce Young could be I think if Bryce Young had Derek Carr's career, that wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, in terms of, I think that's pretty safe if he stays healthy. If he's got some good coaching around him. That's what I'm curious. I'm curious to see. That's what. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the play calling, everything's kind of set up for pretty good success. They traded up. You know what I'm saying? They traded up to get him. So it's not like their team was number 1 overall worthy bad. So I think it's going to be a really good spot for him.
I mean, they gave up a lot to get him. But obviously if you get your quarterback for the next 15 years, then it's worth every pick you traded up and more,
Agreed. Yeah. And I hope he throws it a lot to Hayden Hurst and DJ Chark.
I'm sure he will.
I really do.
I wonder why you want him to throw there.
I hope he slings it to them a whole bunch. But yeah, and then Texans. I mean, I think the Texans.
Dude, honestly, I think the way that the top 3 quarterbacks fell to where they went, I think couldn't have been more perfect for them, to be quite honest.
That's what I couldn't agree more. Like I really do. I agree. Even with like I don't love the Hendon Hooker situation for Hendon Hooker, obviously. But I think he'll eventually probably get a chance.
Yeah, unless Goff
But
keeps
they're all
doing what he's been doing.
yeah, and I mean they are. I did look up, and again, this is no dynasty bias, I promise.
No,
But Goff, they are talking Goff
yeah,
extensions
that
too.
makes sense.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see there because if they go on a run, and I kind of want to talk about just teams we like heading into the season because they are definitely one of them. I
For
think
sure. Yeah.
I was really up on them last
Right.
year, but I guess I was a year too early
Yeah.
a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, they finished strong. They made me look
Yeah.
good towards the end of the season. But yeah, no, I think maybe a year late on them like fully putting it together. But in terms of the Texans, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson,
They gave up a
I
lot
like it.
though.
They did give
So
it up a
for
lot.
Will Anderson, they gave up a lot because I mean,
Uh,
again, how good are the Texans going to be? And now next year's draft class, which is especially at the quarterback position, projecting out to be a substantially better draft class. So
I'll
even if
die.
they love Stroud, right?
Die, bro. If next year they're talking about taking one of these guys, if they
Well, I don't
go
think that.
3 and
Yeah, for
13,
sure. I just think the only way that would even be entertained is if they had the number one overall pick because I think Caleb Williams right now is
yeah.
everyone's looking at him like he's going to be the next big time guy, you know. I just think too though, even if the Texans if they love CJ Stroud and they plan on like no matter what basically we're going to run with him. You trade away next year's first round pick where potentially if they were good with CJ Stroud, the draft capital that they could have gotten for that pick could be astronomical. So,
Or if you have the number 2 overall pick next year after taking CJ Stroud, or you have a top 5 pick, you just take Marvin Harrison
and that's
Jr.
another
for
thing.
CJ
Yeah,
Stroud. That would be
yeah,
crazy. Like, why would that? So, but now they gave away that first round pick in
yep.
2024. So, yeah,
So it's out the window. A
that's
lot of people are actually mocking that the Cardinals may have the number one and number two overall draft pick next year.
damn.
Yeah,
I mean, that wouldn't shock me.
no.
That would make me very happy for this show's
Well,
purposes because
especially,
I would literally love to do
yeah.
that because I don't think Kyler Murray's good.
I
I
don't.
don't think
So
he's
I don't
good
think he's
at
good,
all.
but I think he's good enough to make them not have the number one and number two overall pick.
Oh
So,
my
so
gosh.
like
Yeah.
it's going to
100%.
be dependent upon how many games Kyler's out with his injury. That to me,
Agreed.
that's what
Yeah,
it comes down to.
for sure. And I totally agree with that. They're not like going to get the first overall pick if Kyler's
No,
playing.
zero
He's athletic. He's good
for
enough.
sure.
But I just don't think he's like even I don't think he's top 10 in the league, but that's just like not even close for me. Um
You might,
I know it gets I know it starts to
towards the
get
back
fishy
end
there
there. Yeah,
towards
for
10.
sure.
I know, but it's just I don't like him being
No,
quarterback anywhere near my
there's
team.
arguments to be made
Um
for that. Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's go over just like obviously we like focusing on the offensive players a little bit
Hey,
more. I think everybody does that.
Anthony Richardson. I think that is the perfect landing spot for him with Shane Steichen.
No, that's what I'm about to get
Oh,
into. We're focusing on offense player Anthony Richardson for sure. Like going to the Colts.
yeah.
I'm not scared to talk about this at all. Be fully open, honest about my opinions here, because I don't care if our fantasy league hears it.
We
Because
have no chance of getting
I
him.
ain't getting
No.
Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson. There's no chance I'm getting Anthony Richardson. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not paying that much to move up and get him. But I think he's going to be fantastic. Fantasy wise, fantastic. I think they're going to be okay team wise. Don't get me wrong. And again, more things we'll get into here in a second. But I don't think they're beating the Jaguars. But
Right.
I think Anthony Richardson with Jonathan Taylor, if they get the right play caller, who's their offense coordinator,
Well,
the
I'm not
shit.
sure who the OC is, but the head coach is now Shane Steichen, and he was the OC in Philly with Jalen Hurts. He was
Okay, so
also
this
he
is
was also then with Justin Herbert during his rookie season when he won Rookie of the Year. So like in terms of
okay.
fit and like development, that's why to me the Colts went with Anthony Richardson. It's the highest. He's got the highest ceiling out of anyone.
Ceiling. Yes,
And Shane
100%.
Steichen is the dude to get that out of him. You know.
Yeah, and he seems like a good dude too. Like in
Yeah.
terms of just overall, you never really hear a peep about him,
Yeah.
right? If
No.
I am getting
No
that right
off-the-field
throughout
stuff.
his
No.
Florida throughout his Florida
No.
career. So yeah, I think he's going to be fantastic. I think you can really compare it to like the Jalen Hurts situation. I remember like Pat McAfee and them talking
Yeah.
about that during some of the draft coverage. But yeah, no, Anthony Richardson to the Colts. I love that move. I think it's really, really solid. Yeah, no, love it. What do you got on kind of moving down here? Obviously some good picks in terms of like some like obviously Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State,
Yeah,
beast, cornerback Devin Witherspoon,
yeah,
dog. All these guys are really good, but obviously the next kind of you know, I guess I don't want to say blockbuster, but just kind of big time pick would be Bijan to
yeah.
Atlanta. Now you're probably happy because you got rid of
I
Algier
did,
in Dynasty,
I did.
correct? So you're probably happy about that because that's a good move there. Now, don't get me wrong, most teams are going two-headed
Right.
monster. So I personally think Algier's still going to get the ball. I still
Yeah.
think he's going to be
Right.
involved. But just in terms of like Cordero, Bijan, Algier, it's like, do you still have
I've
Cordero?
got Cordero, but again,
But who
like,
cares? Yeah, who cares? No. Who cares? Who cares? Literally, I wasn't saying that for
yeah,
that. But yeah, no, Bijan to the Falcons. People are saying that like a lot of what I'm hearing is like, oh, they drafted him eighth overall, so they're just gonna feed him 30 times a game. I don't necessarily. Don't get me wrong. Could I see him getting 25, 30 touches?
yeah,
Yes. But like in terms of them just like Derrick Henrying it with Bijan
right.
Robinson, it's not like there's no way that they
No,
do that. There's
I
no
don't
way
think
that
they
they do
do
that.
that. I think he instantaneously becomes RB1 in that backfield.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
think
gosh.
though you can have split packages where you can line up Bijan in the slot because he has the ability to catch,
One
and then
one hundred
it'll get
percent.
Algier on the field as well, right? Because he proved last year
Exactly.
that he's
1,000 yard
yeah,
rusher as a
yeah.
rookie. I mean, that's
It's
pretty
good.
good. That's
You
quiet.
get the extra game, so like it's a little
True.
bit less now, but still, I mean, still eclipse that 1,000 yard
Yeah,
mark.
even if he did 909 or yeah, 900 and 900
Yeah,
even, let's say.
no, still not a bad
Um
rookie year.
yeah,
But
for
I think
sure.
if
Also, he didn't play every game. He wasn't getting the majority of the touches all
no,
year.
no,
No. Um yeah, no, I like that move though for the Falcons. If they really like Desmond Ritter and Desmond Ritter's their guy, based on, I mean, they got a good offensive line. Their defense isn't very
no,
good, right? The
It's improved a
Falcons.
lot though. They signed a lot of good pieces. So
So overall, like I don't hate the move at all for the
no,
Falcons. Some people were saying it maybe was early, but I don't hate it at
no,
all. Um, Other move that I love, uh, after kind of it all played out. At first, I was like,
mm,
why? And then after it all paid out, I mean, Jameer Gibbs to the Lions is kind of
yeah,
exciting, to be
yeah,
honest. It's like really,
no, for
really
sure.
exciting with Montgomery and him. Again, from a fantasy perspective, might be a little frustrating. But again, everybody's doing this two running back thing.
Yeah,
Literally every team is doing this. I feel like so. I think that's kind of just going to be the running back
he's
position
another one.
moving
So
forward.
he's another one too, right? Like I've already been seeing some stuff, and I kind of thought this as well. Is they're gonna throw him at the slot occasionally as well.
Yeah, they said I saw
So I
like
mean,
multiple articles already
yeah,
saying that
which
as well.
totally
Yeah,
makes sense because the dude is just a natural pass catcher and
yeah,
explosive as hell. So
and they fit my description of if you have dreads, you're usually pretty
yeah,
good at running back or wide receiver in the NFL.
you're
Like
at a minimum you're
literally, if
fast.
you yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I feel like all the guys that have just like that long hair, Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Charles. I
Yeah,
mean, you could probably name
a ton
who
of
was the huge dude that trucked. I mean, Derrick Henry, Steven
yeah.
Jackson. I mean, it is crazy. I love
Dude,
that look with the Chris Johnson. I mean, dudes that just absolutely burn. I
you know
love that look in the
he's gonna
helmet.
be elite. I think in Detroit
Oh
because
yeah,
again too, you throw him with Amon Ra, you throw him with Jameson Williams, who we can maybe touch at a later point, but that whole NFL rule is total nonsense. Aside from him being on my fantasy team,
we're going to talk a little sports
yeah,
gambling here in a little bit based on one of the
yeah,
videos I pull up. So we can talk about that and bring it up in a little bit. But I agree. I overall, I think that was stupid as hell to 6 games. But I get the side of like, I get the side of you got to put the kibosh to everything because if the integrity and things start to get a little
right.
off, that's major, major shit
No,
for the NFL. That's not
my
good.
whole issue with it is the fact that if he placed the bet from his house, the same bet that he did, then no
Yeah.
suspension. But because he placed it while he's at the facility, suspension. To me,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
that
I
makes
think the
zero.
punishment's too high
Well,
for
no,
that. That's what I'm saying
I
for that
think they
particular
need to
thing.
make it. Hey, while you're employed by an NFL team, if you can't, if they don't think that sports bet, if they think it's a conflict of interest, right, and shady, well then, hey, you don't get to play sports bets while you're employed by an NFL team. But the fact that they think it's okay to make the same exact bet from your house but you can't make it at the field, to me is ridiculous because during the season, especially the NFL season, the amount of time that those dudes are at the facility is insane. Let alone when you're at the facility for someone like him who was going through all that rehab. So he's spending literally the entirety of days at facilities. And then miraculously, like that's not okay, but if he did it at his house, it's fine.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
think it's
Okay.
ridiculous.
But you know what else is at all over that facility, plastered everywhere, literally while you're peeing, while you're eating, while you're getting your where you're getting your
Yeah.
treatment, while you're on the field, like pretty much everywhere, probably besides on the field, maybe. There are probably signs, and not probably, there are signs every single corner you turn in that locker room. No sports betting, probably no probably some other things too, like that are NFL
I don't know
related.
about that because like seven of them got freaking jammed up on this, including
Exactly,
coaches.
exactly why it's the stupidest shit and why these guys are idiots for doing this. Again, the rule is
Yeah,
stupid, the suspension stupid, but it's like the tobacco thing in the minor leagues. Guys would get jammed up in terms of like fines, all this
right.
stuff from the MLB. Meanwhile, all over the locker room is what?
No, it's the signs. I'm
Over and over again, signs that if you
right,
get caught doing it, like you're gonna have to pay
right.
the fine, and then these guys are wondering you have to pay the fine, and all of a sudden they're like, oh,
Yeah,
why do I have to pay the fine?
no,
That's
no,
so.
no.
It's like, dude, literally they told you this was
I
gonna happen.
totally understand that aspect of it all. I just look at it again from like the perspective of, hey, NFL, the amount of money that I know that they are making off of this is insane. So I think the rules then need to be clear cut and actually logical. That's all I'm saying. Because again,
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
like
No, 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 that's what I'm saying. They just need to be. They just need to be. I guess just
that's what I'm
logical.
saying. Like
Yeah, they just need to
literally,
be
it
logical. They just need
my
to be
yeah, my whole
logical.
thing is if I look at it and I go, okay, this clearly makes zero sense because again, if I can make this same bet and the only difference is that I'm at my house versus like at the facility, then to me it's like, well, just because of location to me should be different. Now, and again, too, it was all on college games. So that needs to be pointed out too. It was all on college games.
No, no,
So
that's what I'm
no,
saying. The rule, what
yeah,
happened was stupid. But like, what are you doing,
no,
Jamison Williams? Like, what are you
I
doing?
completely agree on that aspect.
So then fight the
Yeah,
rule. Literally use your voice. You're literally a first round pick. Talk to somebody about literally changing the
yeah,
rule if you want to do
and
it
that'll
that
be
bad. It's literally the stupidest shit.
yeah,
I don't
that'll be
get
through
it.
the Players
Um,
Association, but hopefully they get that
for sure.
resolved
Yeah,
because
all
it's
they're
stupidity.
they're gonna
It's stupidity.
over the next couple years,
Yeah,
things will start to get figured out because there'll be another case, there'll be another time this
yeah,
happens, shit like that, and they'll really start to figure it out.
yeah.
Hopefully. All right, moving on with some offensive players here. Just quickly, I guess we could. I'll bring up this just because it's funny because it's my team effing your
Yeah.
team. But I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick literally
Uh,
came out and said he literally did it to fuck the
that's
Jets.
what I've heard. You know, again though, it's like whatever, Bill. Enjoy
I mean,
losing
it's
to us this year, buddy.
exactly. No, I agree with that. But yeah, Steelers get Broderick Jones just because my team. I've loved that pick. That's exactly what I know. It's boring. It's absolutely boring. But I'm
You need
pumped
it.
for a little protection for Kenny Pickett and hopefully some clear lanes from for
Yeah.
Najee. But all right, kind of going on to your guy. This next kind of big prospect here, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Hate it.
For
Literally hate
fantasy.
it. Yeah, hate it. Obviously good for the Seahawks. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. Don't mind it at all. But oh my gosh, do I
Yeah.
hate it. Um, just like the best receiver in the draft, kind of going to a place where he's gonna be the number 3 receiver this year.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this year he'll be the number 3. Probably the year after, I would probably say he'll be the number
Yeah.
2. But yeah, no.
I
But
could
in the
see
slot,
him.
that's the only good thing is he's in the slot compared to those two guys do play
Yeah,
outside.
PPR wise as well. I think he could maybe not so much his rookie year, but as Lockett maybe fades out a little bit,
Yeah,
he takes
one
over.
hundred
I think
percent.
PPR wise, he could be very good in the slot.
100%. I don't want to. Again, this is another guy that I'm like, yo, this dude's probably gonna go off if he stays on the field. Is the next pick from the
Yeah.
Chargers, which is Quentin
Yeah.
Johnson. I mean, dude, with the Keenan Allen and Mike Williams being hit or miss on the
Right.
field, if this dude can come in and play 17 games, he'll probably win Rookie of the Year. I like
On
seriously, he'll
offense, yeah.
probably win. Yeah, on offense, unless Bijan
Yeah.
go like, or
Or
would
any
that
of the
be?
quarterbacks have a decent year, it automatically makes them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. But dude, if he goes for like 1,210 touchdowns because Justin Herbert is just
Oh
going
yeah.
off,
No, for
I
sure,
mean that would
for
be
sure. Now,
crazy. And I think that can happen. I really like him in redraft. I'm gonna be absolutely going after him in
yeah.
redraft for sure. Um, but too high. He's gonna probably go within top 7 or
In
so.
our rookie
In
draft, I
yeah,
I I think he goes top 5.
yeah, I agree. Because I'd take him over Smith and Jigba. I'd take him over
Yeah,
any other
I
wide
think he's going to go
receiver.
top 5. I think Gibbs is going to go top 5 too, and I think the quarterback's going to get pushed down the board. But that we can discuss that off.
Yeah, which is crazy, which would be crazy. But same thing here. Don't love the Zay Flowers thing for fantasy at
No,
all. Don't get
good
me
player.
wrong.
Like
Really good player. Could be the guy, could end up being a guy that gets a bunch of targets, but he's not going to pass, Mark Andrews or running the football
right,
with the
right.
Baltimore
That's what it
Ravens.
comes down
But
to.
they did bring in a new offensive coordinator though, things like that. So who knows? But I'll need to
Well,
see it
still, you
before we
got
believe it.
Bateman there. You have Odell. You have Mark Andrews. So it's just
I'm not a
no. Neither
Bateman
am I.
guy.
But long story short is he's going to get targets. So I just think
Yeah.
again, like in fantasy perspective, it's not like Zay Flowers is going to get fed at least early on.
Yeah. I agree. Injury to Odell, something like
Of
that, then
course,
boom, we're
of
kind
course.
of this next one I like, but I think people are overreacting a little bit with this next wide receiver,
Yeah,
Jordan Addison. I don't know why. But personally, I don't think like he's all of a sudden just gonna come in here and be like the second target hog. But you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying. People are saying that he'll get even more than like Hawkinson too, which is like, dude, that Hawkinson was going the
yeah,
hell off at the end of
yeah.
last season. So I don't know. I like it for the Vikings. I like it. It's not going to be bad for fantasy either. But I think people are kind of overhyping it just a tad in terms of like early success right away.
No,
What
I
do you
think
got?
a lot of people are saying that he's going to step in and be the 2. In the receiver room, would I be surprised if he slightly outperforms KJ Osborne from a wide receiver perspective? I would not. I don't think he's going to be the number 2. And the reason too with KJ, like I like KJ Osborne. I think he's very good. I just also have seen Jordan Addison with Kenny Pickett and with Caleb Williams just go freaking nuclear. So it would not surprise me, right? With most of the attention going to Justin Jefferson, it would not surprise me if Addison steps in and has success early on. Like that wouldn't be shocking.
100%.
But I still think the pecking order
100%.
is going to be Jefferson. I think Hawkinson's going to be a stud. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
Hawkinson,
me
and then it's
too.
going to be, you know, Addison, KJ fighting it out for there.
Agreed. I think for me,
Yeah,
like just obviously now we are talking about it from like a fantasy
yeah,
perspective a little bit. I just think for me, I would rather
yeah,
this season have KJ Osborne above Addison for one reason. I think overall, maybe by like the last 4 weeks of the season or not 4 weeks, maybe like the last back half of the season, I should say, Addison could be definitely playing really,
yeah,
really well, scoring touchdowns, be heavily
for sure.
involved. I just think consistency over this season, I think KJ Osborne has a chance to be more
Yeah,
consistent over the season. Finishing numbers,
right.
who knows? Who gets hot, things like that. I just think I think this will be the most consistent KJ Osborne year
To date, yeah,
overall. That's really where I think it's gonna, because he's been that guy who's randomly finished as like top 35, but
right.
like never gets drafted anywhere
Of
close to
course.
that number. So that's what I think. I think he'll be the most consistent, but I agree. I don't love the overall outlook, pre-draft compared to post-draft
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Again, for a 1 year, if we're looking at it from a 1 year perspective, I don't think you're crazy for that outlook on it. But again, I also could see some where like, we've seen the talent of Addison. So if he does click with Cousins early on, I could see a situation where he then surpasses KJ. You know,
For sure. And I mean,
that could happen.
we could be laughing about this halfway
Yeah,
through the season because Kirk Cousins is throwing for 5,000 yards and
yeah,
he's absolutely torching
yeah.
everybody. Like
No,
I legitimately could
it
see
wouldn't
that for
shock me
sure.
with the
So I
weapons
don't
they
even
have.
care because then
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't even care then because everybody would be kind of eating a little bit. So this next move, I think personally, I think this next move is really underrated. And I personally think that this is going to be a really good move for the Buffalo Bills and Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid. Knox is good. Knox is good, but he's not like Kincaid is in the receiving game. And I think, running them both out there, I think it's going to take a little pressure off Gabe Davis, probably a little bit too. Again, I can't believe. And do you think this is just a kind of a question here that I was thinking about? You think if Addison, Flowers, Quentin Johnson, or Njigba were there, you think they were going one of those four? With the Bills there, or do you think they really were set on Kincaid?
I think if Quentin Johnson was there, I think they would have probably taken him. I think the other guys are too small for what they were looking for here. But I think it's not really going to be a secret that Kincaid is basically going to be a slot wide receiver for
Yes.
them.
Yeah, that's why I don't like that. He's going to be legit.
You know what I'm saying? So he's basically going to be like the Travis Kelce role, where very minimal blocking usage, and he's going to be going out and catching passes, making plays.
Okay, and now think about how much those other tight ends on the Kansas City Chiefs are on the field too.
No, for sure.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. So I think this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like sleeper, right, but I think he's going to like have a really good rookie year. Yeah. I really do. I think he's going to have a legit year. Other than that, not really much anything else on the.
I'll say just to round out the first round, I was surprised as to how far Mayer fell.
Me too.
Because again, like the dude came in as a freshman and was a stud from freshman year all the way through, with different quarterbacks, blocking, receiving, everything. And I was surprised that even the Lions went with Laporta over Mayer. But hey,
you're gonna take him if he's there, Mayer.
If he's there all the way at 2.7, yeah, obviously I would take him.
Why you don't think he could be?
I don't think he will be.
Really?
Because that means he's gonna be a starter in Vegas.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that are gonna, Musgrave and Kincaid could go before him. You think there's gonna be more than 2 tight ends taken before him?
I think in fantasy, I think he'll be the second tight end taken.
Yeah. Yeah, even with it kind of clear in Green Bay for Musgrave.
Yeah, because again,
I could see it too.
More to throw to the tight end, Jimmy Garoppolo or Jordan Love.
I just think more like I guess volume.
Yeah, the way I look,
and I think Jordan Love's going to be pretty good.
But again, though, I look at Jimmy G and the way that he operates in offense, and I would rather have the tight end in a Jimmy G offense than a Jordan Love offense currently. Obviously, Jordan Love could show me something different, right? But Jordan Love wasn't afraid to throw to wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? He was ripping the ball on the outside, like when he did get in. So, but again, dude, if he's there, I'll take it.
No, for sure. Any other receivers? Like, I don't want to talk too much because this is now we're starting to get into secrecy here. But any other receiver, like in terms of like just fit, in terms of like the team that you liked? Any other comments on any running backs, anything like that?
Not too much. I mean, if we want to talk like running back,
football wise, I was pumped about Darnell Washington going to the Steelers.
I think that's a good. It's a good
that
compliment
is sick.
to Freiermuth, because I think Freiermuth is more of like the Kincaid. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, he's just more. I'm not saying he's not. He's probably not as fluid as a Kincaid, but in terms of a pass catching tight end, Pat Freiermuth.
Also, like just contested catch, he's insane. Like dude, he'll literally he really is baby Gronk when it comes to that shit. Because it's like it's definitely not at the Gronk level, but it's like he does like similar actions sometimes. I think this is a person, I'll just say it out loud, just whatever, because I think he'll be there probably. If not, whatever, somebody else that I like will probably be there still. So I don't really care that much. But I have fallen in love with somebody's takes on these guys. I don't know if you know this. I think I've probably mentioned it to you before, but I am a firm believer in Steve Smith Sr. He has made some takes over the years that have been spot on at wide receiver.
Rashee Rice?
What? He's
Okay.
one of them, but not who I'm talking about here. He's definitely a guy
Yeah.
that I think 100%. Just in terms of though how the Chiefs go, I'm not targeting him
Yeah.
as high just because I don't really like. I don't want to wait. Like I don't like the situation.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Sky Moore could have a really good year. I just don't want to deal with the situation that you're dealing with Sky Moore, to where you have
Right.
no idea if he's gonna
Right.
like take
Right.
that step, or like is he gonna have the same role. The Chiefs are kind of weird when it comes to like the roles and stuff. For example, Jerick McKinnon scoring more points fantasy wise than
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco. Makes no
Right.
sense to me, but it happens. Um, but the person I was getting to is Cedric
Yeah.
Tillman. I mean, the way Steve Smith Sr. was talking about him, he really
Yeah.
likes this guy. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about going with Cedric Wilson if he's there. Cedric
Yeah.
Tillman if he's there, I should say. I don't know if that guy's on your list, but
No.
there's a few wide receivers that I would take in the area
Yeah.
that I'm at. And those two guys, like you said,
Dude, I think
um,
Mingo.
Tillman
Ming.
and what'd you say?
Yeah.
Rasheed Rice. That's
Well, I mean,
definitely
anytime, right? They're paired up with Mahomes. And you're in a rookie draft, like
gotta.
you got to chance it, right? Especially
It's
with how high of
interesting,
a
yeah.
draft capital they used on him, right? Um.
But it's going to be funny because Justin Ross is going to be their number one.
Yeah.
When I saw that, do you see that notification from Sleeper
No.
today? It said the Chiefs
Oh,
consider
I saw that.
Kadarius Toney their
Yeah.
number one. You know what I read when I read that sentence? Justin Ross will be the Kansas City
Yeah.
Chiefs number one receiver, because there ain't no way Tony is gonna finish or is gonna play the whole
No.
season. He'll die. He's literally gonna like get obliterated. I don't. It's crazy how injury prone he just
Yeah. He
looks
looks
out there on the
brittle.
field.
He's explosive, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I did
Oh
see
my
the
gosh,
notification you're talking
nasty.
about, and again, I read that like, hey, Sky Moore is going to get a lot more opportunities as well. 'Cause it's like,
Exactly.
dude,
No, exactly. And that's the same take. I'm just messing around
of
with
course,
the Justin Ross thing, but like I don't. There's no way. Ever since that trade happened, there's just no way in my head that that's how it
yeah,
actually plays out. But now, of course, that's how it's going to play out. He'll go for
right,
1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns this year.
yeah. Last
But
one too. I
okay,
think
go
Kendrick
ahead.
Miller to New Orleans, which I kind of hyped him up last time. I thought he was like the number 3 running back in the class. I think him going there, obviously with the Kamara situation, don't really know what's up with that. But I think if Kamara does miss time, even though they've got Jamal Williams, I do think Kendre will slide in and have a pretty decent role early on, and potentially then take over the starting spot going forward down there. I think that's a good spot for him.
I agree. Yeah, no, that's a good one for him for sure. I like like in that similar, I guess, kind of um
Yeah,
energy, I guess you could say. I like Roschon to
yeah,
the Bears in the
yeah,
fourth round. I think he could get some touches, get some time there as well. There's people oh yeah, there's people that aren't happy about the I guess the biggest one fantasy wise, probably affecting is the
yeah.
Cabernet
Zach
to
Charbonnet, yeah,
Seattle in the second round. Charbonnet,
yeah,
is that
Zach
how you say
Charbonnet.
it? Mm, I got to get better at that. Seattle Seahawks in the second round. Yeah, no, I mean that's going to probably cut into him a little bit in terms of Kenneth Walker. But again, everybody's doing it. Literally
Yeah,
everybody does it. So
yeah.
I don't. It is what it is. I don't think it's
Fantasy
going to be as
wise, it
big a
just
deal.
makes things a nightmare, right? Because you don't know who they are.
It's just so
But dude,
annoying.
I wasn't as high on Charbonnet. I thought a lot of his we didn't touch on it, and I meant to in the last show we did. Charbonnet, watching film on him, I thought a lot of his running room was available due to Dorian Thompson Robinson's ability to also run. And I think that's why, right? Like, obviously, Dobbins is good. We saw him be successful at Ohio State, but we saw him come into the NFL and do well, do very well right out the gate because Lamar brings in that factor of they have to guard the run up until the last possible second for him, too. So DTR, not saying he's Lamar, but at UCLA, the dude can run. Dude's an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, and then with them, we have the ability to throw the ball as well. I think a lot of the lanes got opened up for Charbonnet um, because of that. Now, don't get me wrong, Charbonnet's a big body dude. Like he'll run over some dudes, but I just think his upside is capped in terms of the totality of him at the running back position. So that's why I didn't have him in my top 5. And I think this is for real football. I think it's probably not a bad move for Seattle. But for fantasy football, it once again it muddies the waters in another team's backfield where Kenneth Walker went off last year.
Which is exactly why I have a philosophy, and you can honestly You could see it if you just looked at my team, and I'm trying to get it to where it's even more like what I'm
Yeah.
about to say. But I have a new little thing that I think, and I'm obviously telling somebody in my
Yeah.
fantasy league, which is not great, but whatever. I'm not scared to. I'm not scared to say what I do. And I think something that's going to shift in the fantasy community, especially if Dynasty gets bigger, and things like that. But I think it's going to be to where you draft almost all wide receivers, a lot of wide receivers. And then personally, I think everybody in redraft, I personally have gone with this strategy, and it tends to work if guys, obviously, wide receivers,
Yeah.
health is obviously the biggest thing, but this kind of covers you at the running back position. I did it with DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams last year. It wasn't great just because of the injury
Swift.
Swift, but if you can do it to where you can pair it up early and late, or even just like
Yeah.
mid round and then really late, stack, like, even if I'd rather have, if I have, let's say, 5 running backs, if I have the starter and the backup for both of those teams and I went heavy
Yeah.
wide receiver, that is, I really do think that's what all these guys heading into this fantasy season, I think all of a sudden, even though there's been people that have been doing it, usually what gets talked about is kind of the year after leading into. And I really do think that's what, all these guys, Matthew Berry and all these, Yates and all these guys on these fantasy shows. I think that's kind of going to be the idea in terms of draft strategy with running backs in fantasy. I mean, I'm assuming
No,
you agree with that
I
because it just
agree
makes
because
sense.
again, I mean, if you look at the way that I've built my team is heavy at wide receiver, heavy at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like I try to get as many top dudes as I could get there, and then obviously I've got two, I'd say two really good running backs, right? Derrick Henry being older, but I think the way going forward is you're essentially going to have to own teams' backfields rather than just their running. You're
Yes.
going to have to own the position.
Yes.
Whereas at receiver, tight
Yeah.
end, quarterback, you can own the dude. That running back, you're going to have to own the position for a team that you think is going to be
Yes,
successful.
and you'd almost rather, if like if your league's only two, if your league's only 2 running backs,
Yeah.
regardless of redraft dynasty, you'd almost rather have, if you have 3 running backs and they're 3 backups, you'd almost rather that than opposed to like 6 running backs
Right.
across the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at it in our
because it's
dynasty
tough.
league, because you can't
Right.
just do it like, you
Right.
can't just do it like this. But yeah, no, that's exactly where my mindset is to where I'm going to start to almost like treat running back as my least important position, while trying to just get 2 or 3 teams full backfields. So yeah, I guess that really is, I think, the move in terms of like dynasty and just redraft, minimally in redraft. Obviously not as important in redraft,
Right.
but just like in dynasty leagues or keeper leagues, I think it is important. Handcuffs, which is not obviously not nothing new, but I think the way where people go about it will change a little bit. All right, keeping it on the NFL, and I guess this really isn't NFL news, but we'll just talk about it right now because it's funny as hell. Is the Jackson Mahomes stuff. So we've been saying it for years now in terms of some of these ridiculous videos, and just like it's just like no feel. That's literally the definition of the guy has no feel. Everything, his life is literally could be laid out for him. Doesn't even have to worry about a thing. He could start a business. He could do whatever he wants strictly based on his name. He would get a shot to do whatever he wants. And he literally pissed all over it. Literally is pissing all over it literally on a monthly basis, it feels like. But just crazy. What do you got on it? You think Pat Mahomes is finally going to just say,
No.
Or do you think he's going to?
No, he won't,
crazy,
dude. Because again, like we've talked about this with like other family things over the years. It's like, bro, if you do some stuff like this, like, bro, you're done. There's not like
Yeah.
It's not like you get to come back from certain things, and the whole like, oh, it's family excuse is just, it totally goes out the window when certain lines are crossed, right? I mean, there's video of all this. He's literally all over the chick, kissing her, and she clearly doesn't want to be kissed, right? And it's like, bro,
No.
I'm sure, as ridiculous as I think all of the TikTok dancing is, I'm sure there's a ton of chicks out there that for some reason would love to freaking get with Jackson Mahomes. So it's like, bro,
100%.
just go do it. But the problem is that they do these TikTok dances. They get quote unquote famous, which, let's be real, the only reason he's famous is because of his last name, and his brother's the best quarterback in the world right now. That's the only reason, because his dancing is terrible.
100%.
From the few videos that I've seen, they're abysmal.
Oh yeah,
And the fact that
horrible.
he basically is tied to the hip of Pat Mahomes' wife too, who's also another clown show. So just they're both two people that have zero feel for like the entire. Because again, just the simple fact that she is Pat Mahomes' wife and he is Pat Mahomes' brother, they're relevant. But did they do anything to earn the relevancy? The answer is a hard and fast no. So if they were smart, what they would do is they'd be just chilling and they would just enjoy the amazing, rich, freaking essentially perfect life that they're gonna have laid out for them if they would just chill out. But the problem is that they just can't seem to find a way to do that. So
Yeah. No, literally
yeah,
spot on. And I think an important point to make is there are plenty. Now, obviously, Mahomes is
yeah,
the biggest name right now. It's the biggest name right now in football.
hands
Like
down.
that's
No,
like 100%,
it's not
right? Not
even
even
debate.
close. Yeah. So it's obviously at a
Yeah,
different scale, but there are plenty of examples. I didn't even
yeah,
prepare examples, and I can name some examples of people in a very
yeah,
similar situation. Okay. Use TikTok, use social media based on their significant other,
yeah,
their brother, their sister, their whatever it is
yeah,
in the NFL.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just keep it on NFL. For example, there's I'm not sure what team he's on right now, actually. I have no idea what team he's on, but it's like Isaiah
You
Crashell
talking
or
about the
something
dude's
along the
wife that
lines
does
of,
like, yeah, dude,
yeah, yes,
cool.
fantastic, entertaining. They do a great job. She doesn't like it's literally just
Yeah,
using it to and not in a but just kind of taking advantage of
right,
your situation,
right.
in a good way, in a fantastic way. And there's plenty more
Yeah,
examples of people doing that in the NFL that I see all the time. Wives,
yeah,
like I said, brothers, whatever it is. And I just don't get how this great opportunity is presented to you to where literally, like, could you imagine somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, Nick, you can do whatever you want and you would be
yeah,
guaranteed a
yeah.
chance at that." That would be like the greatest gift anybody could ever
Even further than
give
that,
you.
right? Like, because obviously in the world we live in, guaranteeing a chance would basically whoever that individual would be saying that, hey, I'm going to fund this.
Yes, literally.
That's so like you don't even have to worry about money, which for 99.9% of the population, that's pretty much the number one concern, right? Is being able. And
And also, he doesn't have to worry about money because his name gets him through the
exactly,
door everywhere.
exactly,
He doesn't even need Pat
right,
Mahomes' money to get
right,
himself these opportunities. That's
yeah,
what blows my mind. Like, I literally don't understand it. It's like, yo, you've been given this great shot. If you literally anything he's ever thought about, it could be a damn
yeah.
fashion line. It could be a damn whatever it is, a
He could
energy
he
drink.
could
I don't
literally
even
just
know.
stick to
It could
dancing
literally
on
be
TikTok. If that's what makes him
yes,
happy,
literally
he could literally just do the ridiculous
yes.
dance moves on TikTok.
Yes. Instead they choose, and I don't know if he's actually done this. This is just the video example that is so stupid to me. And literally, just people go around and they just say
Right.
kiss or slap, and like
Yeah,
that's
I've
the
seen
kind
it.
of shit he does, to where he's just
Right.
walking around, and the people are just asking, like literally doing stupid ass videos like that,
Yeah.
and I don't get it at all. I don't get why you have to piss on
Hopefully,
your
I mean,
opportunity
hopefully,
like
all right,
that.
because I will probably want to wrap this topic up, but
Yeah.
hopefully this one at least will maybe sink in.
Did you see the video of
Yeah.
him walking out of the?
I will say, hey,
I mean,
the
like you,
only thing that I did enjoy about all this, besides that, hopefully this is a wake up call for him because he's acting like a total and complete asshole, is there were a ton of funny like jail videos of like when Jackson Mahomes gets to his cell block and it's all a bunch of inmates doing ridiculous dances. Yeah. So I'm like that was funny, but again though, dude, like the guy's a complete clown, and now he's past the point of being a clown, and and like
yeah, and we, dude, I've tried. I've like literally actually tried in this situation to be like, all right, whatever. He's just like, he's just like, dude, these people just like get too
yeah,
excited. Like they just almost like
right.
can't help themselves. They get so excited in certain situations. I'm like, okay. But now it's like things to where it has nothing to do with
No,
Pat Mahomes, like literally nothing to do with them at all. And you're still like effing up this bad,
It's
like
just
over and over
rule
again.
like again like we always say, rule number one: don't don't be an
Don't be an
asshole. And he
asshole.
just
Yeah,
he continues to be a flaming asshole. So
I know.
hopefully
It's
again he
crazy.
freaking figures
It's
it out.
crazy. Charged with
Right.
3 felonies.
Yeah.
3 felonies.
Right. Yeah.
Forcibly kissed the owner of her. That's the quote in this Yahoo
Don't worry.
article. It's
It'll all
crazy.
get
It's
settled out of
really
court. Yeah.
it really is crazy. Yeah, no, it'll be great. But all right, I got a couple things here.
Yep.
Let's get into it. We'll finish with this because it's an NFL related video. It's going to be like 15 seconds, and it's just because when I saw this, I literally pissed myself. I may have sent it to you. I'm not sure, but I hope I didn't. I hope I saved it
Okay.
just for this. But all right, let's show it.
You haven't played in years. Why can't I be quarterback, huh?
You're right. Let's see what you got. Hit me. I'm open.
Hi.
That's why. Now sit down and shut up.
It slipped. I just ate popcorn.
So that I literally was dying
Yeah.
this week because I could so see that too, like because you heard, I forget what the quote was, but he had already poked fun at the fact that Zach Wilson said that he's going to make whoever
Yeah.
comes in's life a living hell.
Yeah. What he said was.
So yeah, no, what was the quote?
Yeah,
You know the
so
quote?
basically they brought up about how Zach at the end of the year said that whatever veteran quarterback they bring in, he's going to give that dude hell in practice every day. Which everyone, even then, because
Yeah.
the New York media is stupid, is like blowing out of proportion. Like, oh my god, this dude's an idiot. But it's like, what would you like him to say? Like, what would you like him to say? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
like-
sorry, He's literally telling you that he's gonna work so hard that he's gonna try to do everything he can to beat the dude out, and they want to crap on him. So
Yeah.
again, even when that came out, I'm like, all right, jokes. However, the way Rodgers handled it all, to me, obviously shows just how
Hilarious.
awesome he is.
If they are not Hard Knocks, I'm gonna literally
So either
freak out because
either
I don't
way,
even.
So obviously
Go
they're
ahead.
finalists for Hard Knocks. I would love them to be Hard Knocks. Either way, as a
Sick.
Jet fan, most people don't know. So they do this thing called One Jets Drive at the beginning of the year, and it's like a freaking documentary basically throughout the preseason, all the stuff.
Where
So
is
you
it?
can
Is it
see
on
it
YouTube?
on YouTube, and then you could see.
Facebook Watch
No,
or
it should be
something?
on YouTube. YouTube, I think Facebook as well.
Cool.
Pretty much anywhere you can look up videos, you can watch it. It's One Jets Drive, and honestly, it's sick every year. They do it's basically Hard Knocks that
Oh,
they
dang.
do themselves, and it's freaking awesome. So even if they're not on Hard Knocks,
Yeah, well, they should do the
I agree.
actual Hard Knocks because if they were smart, I mean, it's literally picture
The
perfect.
quote he said,
Because he is a menace. He is a menace with the media.
No.
He doesn't care. He literally will just. He's smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's smart. He literally doesn't. He doesn't tell people shit. So nobody knows. Besides like
Yep.
his core group of friends, maybe some of them probably don't even know everything on
no,
a
like
daily.
the
You know,
ones that
obviously.
he has too, even in media. Like I know he probably, for plausible deniability, he like does not release info. He keeps everything very close to the chest.
Yes, and like he doesn't
No.
have a wife, right? So this is what I'm
it's perfect.
saying.
But yeah,
It's
his quote
perfect.
back to your video though is when they asked him about what Zach said. He said, "Oh well, I know he's going to give me hell every day in practice," and
Hell
but
in-
then he
in
goes,
practice.
but I'm going to also make his life heaven off the field." Yeah.
Heaven off the
so
field,
He
yeah.
basically, they had a relationship. A lot of people are like, saying, "Oh, Rodgers doesn't want a mentor," but a lot of people don't know
Bullshit.
they had a relationship prior to this. So he had been
Yeah.
a little bit of a mentor ahead of time, but obviously it's completely different being in the building. On top of that, though, even if Rodgers didn't fully take on the mentoring role, just the fact that he gets to sit there and watch probably I'd say easily top 5 quarterback all time, and arguably the best thrower of the football all time, every single day, when it's like clear cut, no matter how good Zach looks, it doesn't matter. Aaron's a starter. Dude, you can't beat it.
Watch Jordan Love highlights in college, and then go watch the couple drives that he had in the NFL last year where he's zipping that shit in there. I totally agree with that. And also, kind of going back to what you just said, my original point that I was going to kind of come back with was there is no way. There's no way that Aaron Rodgers would be this open, this out, just up front with wanting to go to the New York Jets And before it even happened, he said he only sees himself playing for the New York Jets. You're telling me that he in his head isn't like, why would he do this at this point in his career when he was debating retirement? Why would he do this if he didn't necessarily want to mentor
in
Zach
some
Wilson
capacity,
and help
as well
him out?
as trying to, as
In
well
some
as trying to chase
capacity.
the Super Bowl with a very good roster.
Obviously,
For
no,
sure.
but I'm saying there's no way that in his head he's like, I
No.
don't want to go there because, like, but I'm saying I don't, like, that sucks. Oh, damn, I got to go to the Jets
No.
and, like, it's a great situation,
Yeah,
but I
no.
got to mentor him. There's no way that is the energy. I
It's 'cause
hate the media, and I hate the fact that they do
the
this
bottom
kind of
line
shit.
is that the media is stupid. They're very stupid, and they
Stupid
have
as hell.
see a lot of them too have never played sports, right? So like they don't understand the full dynamics of it all, right? Obviously, I didn't in the locker room.
In the locker room, yes,
dude,
they don't
like,
get
I
it.
obviously didn't play professionally. However, I played all the way through college, and there's obviously infielders coming in every single year, and just because I was the starter doesn't mean that I'm not trying to freaking get the next dude to be freaking just as good and hopefully even better, right?
But even
Yeah.
just to simplify that doesn't mean you're going to
Right.
be a dick.
Right.
That doesn't mean, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Do you think every catcher that was ahead of me, do you think we treated each
Right.
other like
No,
shit?
no.
No. Everybody knows that we're
Yeah.
just all puppets. We're literally, everybody's just puppets of up above the media, things like that. Obviously,
Right.
we didn't deal with the
Yeah.
media, but I'm just saying, like, in this situation, there was, and in every situation, don't get me wrong, there's people that hate each other in a locker
Right,
room.
of course.
That's going to
no
happen.
matter
Not
what.
on every team, but just like, I'm saying that's going to happen. But in terms of like treating each other like shit on the field during practice, in meetings,
No,
that does
that's-
not exist. If it existed,
Yeah.
it'd be gone. Whoever was the bottom of that barrel in that little tussle, whoever the bottom guy was,
Right.
they'd be gone. They'd literally be gone in any situation and at any level of professional sports.
I think
It's so stupid
the
that
last
they
thing I'll
create
say
this
is
shit.
to your point about saying to go and watch Jordan Love in college versus then how he was looking last year when he came into those games. I would also challenge people to go look at Zach Wilson's college tape versus Jordan Love's college tape, and then try and tell me that. Now again, I'm not saying that he's gonna all of a sudden. I'm not guaranteeing that he's gonna take this huge jump, but if you're just
It's a
looking
good
at the
thing.
college tape and then your exposure to Aaron Rodgers, and then you step on the field, there's a Jet fan should have hope that we still potentially have our quarterback for the next several years once Rodgers is done in the
Yeah.
because all the talent's there.
Yes.
It's
So that
there.
way you give up, even if you give up that first round pick, your guys are going to get a late round first pick if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. But regardless, like, even if, would you rather start over with a shot in the dark in Caleb Williams? I'm obviously it's not a shot in the dark, but I'm just saying, like, just in terms of like risking it to further drafts. Okay, now you can win now. Now you can definitely know for sure what you have with Zach. And if anything, after your 1 or 2 years with Rodgers, you give Zach 1 year, and then boom, you either suck ass and you get a high pick, or you're good as shit and you're like, oh, let's go. We ruined one late first round pick, and we made the playoffs at a minimum, or at least had a fun season at a minimum. And gave yourself a chance. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's nothing but positivity there.
The last thing I'll say on it, the actual last thing I'll say on it is, hey.
Yeah, we do. I do that all the time when you'll get used to not saying that because, because you're always thinking of new shit and stuff.
With the levels that he has been dedicated to the Jets so far, I see zero chance of him only playing 1 year. To me, it's 2 years at a minimum, and I think I would not even be surprised if he plays a third.
If you guys win a Super Bowl,
that's obviously the outlier. If we win a Super Bowl, dude, he could be done and then talk shit about the Jets for the rest of his life. I don't even care if he brings us to the party. It doesn't matter.
But be crazy, dude.
With the levels
it
of
really would be crazy.
He's shown already, I think it's at a minimum 2 years, and would not shock me if it was 3, barring Super Bowl win.
I totally. Or barring like injury or boring. If you guys come out and go 6 and whatever, 6 and 11, he ain't coming back.
I don't see it.
Unless he really is like, unless he's like, what the hell? Like, I just went 6 and 11. Agreed. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Probably 2 years. Super Bowl or injury.
Could derail that.
The only thing that I think, yeah. All right. Couple more things here. I want to show these. I want to go through these videos now. I'm going to go with this one, and because these other two videos kind of go together. This is hilarious. This is actually hilarious. This is hilarious. Have you seen the? No, I'm saying that this story. It's a video. It's not. The video is not going to be that funny. But the former Alabama baseball coach. You see this about the Alabama baseball coach? Yeah, but did you see what what now that the details came out?
No,
So you don't know the details. All right, let's play this video.
This coach just got fired for committing one of the dumbest crimes of all time. Last Friday, the University of Alabama headed to Baton Rouge to play the consensus #1 team in the country, LSU. Now, Friday nights for college baseball are usually when you throw your best pitcher, but at the last minute, the pitcher scheduled to go for Alabama was scratched from the lineup due to back tightness. That's when Alabama's coach, Brad Bohannon, decided to go with a sophomore who hadn't pitched in a game since March 16th instead. Now, the Crimson Tide would trail for most of the game 8-1, after their new starting pitcher gave up 4 runs in just 3 innings off of 3 hits, 2 of which were home runs. But Alabama did manage to rally for 4 runs in the top of the 9th to make the final score a respectable 8-6. But after the game, it wasn't a near 9th inning comeback that made the news. Instead, it was the fact that during the game, sportsbooks across the country had shut down betting on any Alabama college baseball game. This was triggered after a suspicious wager was placed on Friday's game, which included a parlay and a straight-up moneyline bet on favored LSU to win. Now, this bet was suspicious for a couple of reasons. First is the fact that pretty much no one bets on college baseball, especially not the significant amount that was reported to have been bet on this game. In fact, ESPN reports that FanDuel didn't take a single bet on Friday night's game, which means any bet of any amount would have been extremely noticeable. And so, when an Ohio sportsbook had a guy walk in and place 2 bets on Alabama to lose, they immediately contacted gambling authorities and shut down betting on Alabama baseball across the state, which resulted in other state sportsbooks doing the same thing. And upon review of security footage and phone records, it was revealed that the man placing the bet had been making calls to Baton Rouge, and that the Alabama coach Brad Bohannon had been making calls to Cincinnati. Now, it's unclear if Bohannon was actually trying to rig the game in his favor, or if he just tried to make some money off of the inside information that his star pitcher wouldn't be playing. But regardless, this man was dumb enough to be the only guy in the country to bet on his game, and his bet almost didn't even win.
Yo, I'm not even kidding you. I was dying when I read this story because I looked it up now. Wait, it's literally better. It's literally even better because I was reading through this and let me see here. So they monitored him and they literally said that he is literally he was literally making phone calls. Bohannon was on the phone with the high school baseball coach, according to Roval. The former high school coach placed substantial wagers at a Cincinnati sportsbook on the LSU money line, which closed at -245, and a parlay for the matchup. So literally, this was one of the only bets. Let's say if that kid was exaggerating a little bit, whoever that, the guy was in that video, but let's say he's exaggerating, didn't have all the numbers right, whatever it is. Even if there was 100 bets only.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How easy is it to monitor 100 bets? So like the fact that this, and let alone one. I mean, he made a call. He made a call to his friend in Cincinnati, and then boom, the guy in Cincinnati makes it instantly and bets a huge wager on college baseball, which is true. Not a lot of people bet on college baseball because obviously it's not the easiest to bet on.
One of the more unpredictable things to bet on. Yeah,
100%. 100%. So you see a wager like this, let alone if it was substantial money. Yeah. What are you doing? Like, what the hell are you doing? And this, again, this hurts me, and I don't care what anybody says. This hurts me personally because I hate that guys like this get these opportunities. It's like the fact that you piss all over this opportunity. You are the head coach of the University of Alabama's baseball team, and you are helping your buddy, a high school baseball coach, you're helping him in Cincinnati, Ohio, make a little extra cash or pocket some for yourself. It is ridiculous. These guys think they're above everything. They think they won't get caught, and it's a joke. I literally get so pissed because it sucks for the kids. Because it sucks for the players. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the transfer portal stuff helps now, but still, it sucks for the players, sucks for the situation, and it's just very stupid.
An SEC head baseball coach is at a minimum making a couple $100,000.
Right? I got literally. We can do this right now.
I know, obviously, the big ones like Kevin O'Sullivan and stuff like that. They were making, I think, a couple mil, or maybe $1 million. But dude, they're making a couple $100,000 at minimum.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We'll do this right now. Okay. So this was 2022 salaries.
Recent.
Yeah. Come on. Let me see here. Okay, Tennessee
Yeah.
1.5, Corbin 1.6. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Texas A&M 1.4, Arkansas 1.3, Mississippi State 1.25, Ole Miss 1.2, LSU 1.2, Florida 1.2, Auburn 1 million. Then it's 650,000, 600,000, 570,000. Alabama was he was making $475,000, dude.
Yeah. So that's
In Alabama. Which means because of NIL and what he can sign, what he can do. He's getting free cars. He probably has free housing. He probably got his house. Literally, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Those boosters are nuts at places like that. It's probably crazy. And
it's
pissed
once again,
on
these guys. The bottom line, he's just a greedy prick. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Here's the thing, too.
What are you doing?
He's in the middle of a season, and his mind is even going to sports betting on his team.
That's what I'm saying. You're playing the number one team in the country. What do you talk? Literally, you're about to play the number one team in the country, and his first thought after he scratches his best pitcher is to call his fucking buddy in Cincinnati and place a bet? And this is who's coaching college baseball in the SEC, and people wonder why baseball's fucked. It's because there's so many fucking assholes all around the country that are doing this shit, that are probably way worse than this guy too, as a human being overall. They're probably way worse than this guy. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's because, and the reason because it is because you literally, for lack of a better, I don't want to be vulgar as I want to be when I say this, but you have to kiss ass essentially to get the probably 90% of jobs. These are not actual numbers, of course, but but like in terms of just the general gist of things and how coaching works, it's literally grind as an assistant, kiss ass. Who do you know? Networking. How many times do you go to the coaches convention and set up a booth and talk to people, and then you get a college coaching job? Not somebody who's actually going to influence kids' lives, inspire kids' lives. And now, don't get me wrong. There's coaches that do both. That are under this umbrella. But the amount of like shitty coaching and like just shitty people, like that's really the more important thing. It's shitty people. Yes, because there's coaches out there, and I can, that I don't think know everything about baseball, or let's say should be coaching at the college level. But guess what? Because they're good motivators, because they're good people, because they care, they do a fantastic job with their programs, and they influence kids in a really good way. But obviously not the case here, and not the case in a lot of places, which is a joke. Because the amount of, like, could you imagine, like if a JUCO was smart, or like a D3 or a D2 was smart, what they would do is they would hire a guy that's 30 that they believe in, that they know a lot about, that they could trust, and then boom, now you can have him for the next 20 years, and you lock it down and do something like that, instead of hiring just the guy who's next man up because they've been blowing whoever was ahead of them for the last 20 years or the last 10 years. And then when they move on, you just literally slide in. And that's what creates the shit dynamics on a lot of these college baseball teams, because the assistant coach just wants the head coach's job. And it's literally just a never-ending kiss-ass train to who can get in there. And it's crazy. It's so frustrating for guys like, for example, I'm a 26-year-old who had a lot of baseball experience in terms of playing. I love the energy. I love all that stuff. But in terms of like the chances of me getting a college coaching job in the next 10 years, even, it's like literally slim to none, even based on my background, because I won't have any coaching experience or assistant coaching experience under my belt. It's like a diamond in the rough to find a school that would hire somebody like that, which is a shame. It's a real shame. But all right, that's what I got there in terms of like that stuff. The Alabama coach fired is crazy. Let's get into one last thing here, which is, I don't want to go through the whole video, but just like the baseball realignment thing. I don't know how much you've seen it, but we'll let this go a little bit. I'll skip through it.
Of baseball. The sport will not be the sport that we know it as today, the sport that you grew up with, the leagues you grew up with, the rivals you grew up with, but it's enticing. It's very enticing. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at completely getting rid of the National League and the American League. Total realignment. Bring up the map right now. Here we go. So we're going to start west, go east. The Pacific Division, Seattle Mariners, San Francisco Giants, Dodgers, Angels, Padres. A lot of rivalry right there.
Yeah.
That'd be
absolutely.
sick. Like I actually like a lot of what they do is pretty cool. If they were to ever
Yeah.
actually do this, I think that one in particular. Do you think this is? I don't know. I was kind of thinking about this when I watched this video. Do you think it will help? Like, I don't want to say help the ratings, but I want to say maybe make the ratings a little bit more consistent, because you're not gonna you're gonna know if you're playing majority of West Coast teams as a West Coast. Most of the games are going to be at the same time. And you're gonna you not have to worry about it's starting an hour ahead on this, that kind of stuff. Now I know it's still gonna happen because you're gonna play other teams, but it'll probably help a little bit. All right, let's get back to this map here.
COVID might have, helped lead into some of this. A lot less travel for these teams, and it makes a lot more sense. Off to the Midwest, we got the Minnesota Twins, Brewers, Chicago rivalry is going to be great. Cubs, White Sox, and St. Louis. Then the East Division, weird name for, I guess not. The East Division, Detroit Tigers, Toronto Blue Jays, Pittsburgh Pirates, Cleveland Guardians, Cincinnati Reds. Now
that's the least fun, in my opinion.
Washington Nationals. Oakland A's. Oh, no, that's not the Oakland A's. They got the Oakland A's moving to Nashville.
Nashville.
That's an exciting story in itself. So the Nashville baseball team, Atlanta Braves, Tampa Bay Rays, and Florida Marlins. Now the Atlantic Division. Now, before I tell you guys the Atlantic Division, which excites me the most.
Yeah, this one is sick.
New York Mets, Philadelphia Phillies. You imagine that? The Mets and Yanks playing each other 5 times a year, 6 times a year. Imagine the rivalry that's going to develop between the Boston Red Sox fans and Phillies. Could this be the meeting of the 2 biggest set of douches in the world?
But seriously, I saw that video and I just thought to myself, I was like, that would make me watch more baseball, hands down. Because I do, when I see the Yankees are playing the Red Sox, I don't really watch too much baseball. I'm more of a highlights person, but I would watch more baseball for sure if the Yankees and the Mets were playing all the time, and the Yankees and the Red Sox, even like you said, Philly versus Red Sox, those are good games. And same thing out west, Dodgers, Angels. I even like Chicago there. That's cool stuff. And the one thing that I was happy about there, if they ever did this, St. Louis and Chicago are in that same division or league, whatever you want to call it. Because that rivalry is sick. I've been to that game, and that one's actually kind of fire.
Rid of any of the major rivalries, and then essentially it's putting together more teams that will more likely bring a rivalry atmosphere to it. So the only thing, obviously, the A's are looking like they're moving to Vegas. So that
to Vegas,
that's fine out here too. I think that's a perfect spot for them as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm pumped for Shea and those guys if they get to be a part of that kind of transfer over there, because I think that'll just boost their fame. Literally just boost their fame overall. Make it too, because people travel to Vegas. It'll turn into more of a tourist type thing. That's it'll be so cool. It'll be way better for them. I did see a video of somebody, A's pitcher, former A's pitcher, somebody, and he was saying some things that kind of were a little. It's it is a little upsetting, because they had some really cool years, moments, and they just kind of let it get to shit. I don't know what they did over there, but I hope.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything.
They didn't spend any money. Yeah, they didn't do shit. But yeah, no, that I think that would be cool. I think that would actually be really good for baseball overall. All right, last thing I want to do here, and then we'll kind of close it up with that game. It'll be a lot quicker because we won't have to wait for the wheel to spin. And you got, what do you got, 25 minutes or so? Yeah, we're going to finish this in plenty of time. But, all right, last video here. I want to get your take on if you like this.
Well, we said he was going to be the first one. That hits. And to the edge of our seats we go. The challenge is Fitzgerald. Scranton won. Woo Sox won. And the count flips to Fitzy. I love this.
So I like it. I don't hate it. The thing that's going to be tough is like, okay, do you give
Right.
each team 3? Do you give each team 5?
each-
Do you,
does
you know,
each
what are
batter
the
get
intricacies
one
of the
from
rules
the-
there?
You know what I mean? Like,
So it's what I think it is. What I think it is currently in that where I don't even know which league that is. I think it's one of the minor leagues that you can do that. Like one of the leagues, whatever. But I think it's 3 per team, and if you get it right, you keep it. You keep one of your 3, and if you get it wrong, you lose one of the 3. So you get 3, but if you get it right, you don't lose.
Right.
You don't even lose 1. So technically, you get unlimited challenges
right.
if you keep getting them right. So it could be, you know, and for the most part, if like that won't be that big of a problem because generally speaking here, you know, umpires get a decent
Right.
percentage of them right, like overall. So I think it's good just because it'll be like strategy 1, add a strategy element, and then 2, it's not going to like really affect in terms of because
No,
it
it
won't
shouldn't.
happen too often because because they're not going to risk it because then also later in the
Yeah.
game they're going to want some. So I don't think it would really, you know, be too big a deal there. But I kind of like it. I thought it was kind of cool, especially if the announcers are fun like that, or they do it like a little. I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
seen that hockey guy who comes out and does like the in a cool way. I think that would be cool for the MLB. I don't hate that
anything to
by any
basically
means.
remove the umpires from making a call that is going to completely like ruin the outcome of the game potentially. You know, so obviously to
Yeah.
me it would have to be regulated to where you can't just challenge because then obviously we're then back to slowing the game down. But if it could be quick, like it
Yeah,
was
100%.
I don't see an issue with it.
You know, some mother effer though is gonna be like 3 and 1. Like if he gets one right, the
Yeah.
next pitch will be like again.
Of course.
Okay, like you know it'll happen, and that'll at least give a good clip or something. But all right, we're gonna go where you have to build a team here. Okay, I'm gonna write out outfield. It'll just be outfield, obviously, and then 1 pitcher. Okay, so you get 1 pitcher, and it's gonna be Mitch, Nick. All right, so catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, outfield, DH, pitcher. First letter.
There
Why?
you go. At catcher?
Yeah. No. Any position.
Okay,
You can
I'll
fill
go
any
catcher,
position.
Yadier Molina.
Love it. Good take. All right, my letter. X. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so I got a hot letter.
I already.
All right, I'll go
Yeah.
Xander Bogarts
that's
at
solid.
short. All right, that was better than I thought I was going to do there. X was kind of scared me. All right, nice
Yeah.
easy one for you. N.
Let's go Nolan Arenado at third. Rough.
Remember
it's
it's
all ti- it's all
remember
time.
it's sorry.
But that doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I mean that's not. I mean
Yeah,
not,
no,
I'm not
that's
saying that
scary.
that's a bad pick. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's a bad pick. I got Q. Oh my gosh, bro! Is there even a Q
Quentin
first
McCracken.
name? Quentin. Oh my gosh, dude!
You're gonna have to. You're gonna.
Is
have
there
to go
even any
Quentin McCracken.
Qs? There's no other Qs?
I mean, not if we want to, do.
Yeah, it's like I can
Right.
go last name Q. I have plenty of.
You made these rules, homie.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't think I was gonna get a Q. This is tough. All right,
I'm
well, I guess
pretty
is
sure-
that the only guy? What
pretty sure
I don't even know what
outfield's-
position that dude plays. Let's look up.
I'm doing it right now.
Let's look it up. We're first name Q.
Yeah, outfielder. I mean,
He's the only one.
I'm just telling you for Quentin McCracken, so that we're not.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Quentin McCracken, Quilio Veras.
Hey, at least McCracken played 12 years in the bigs, so
All right.
There you go.
I don't even know. I'm looking here. There's no other ones I even know. And what position did he play?
Outfield.
What position did he
Yeah,
even
yeah.
play? Outfield? Okay.
All right. What do I got?
All right. T. Oh my gosh, bro. Just teeing it up for you now. No pun intended.
Let's go Ty Cobb.
Arenado.
Yeah.
And what outfield, right? All right, I need to get going here. T. Okay. I'm gonna go Tony Gwynn.
Outfield.
First base? Huh. That's brutal. All right. B.
Barry Bonds.
You're getting easy ones. You fucking lucky son of a bitch. You putting him at
Let's put him
DH or
at
outfield?
Just because.
All right, so you so far, Yachty, Nolan Arenado, Ty Cobb, Barry Bonds. I have Tony Gwynn, Xander Bogaerts, and Quentin McCracken. R.
Okay.
Randy Johnson as my pitcher. I'm
Okay.
taking that all day, every day. R.
Let's go Roberto Clemente in the outfield.
Okay. All right. A. I'm going to go Albert Pujols at first base.
Can't go wrong there.
No. U.
As a first name, that's the problem, dude.
I'll get the Google search going. I don't even know if there is going to be any. Last names,
You?
first name starting with the
I don't even know if that's
U.
a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it is a
Pre-roll?
thing. So we'll do a rule. We'll do a rule. You got to
Last
go
name with a
last
U?
name. Just go last name.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
go. Even that, dude.
No, I got somebody for you.
I'm thinking of them, but I just don't know if I want to.
This one's pretty solid.
Yeah. Who you got?
I was going to say
I was
Chase
thinking
Utley.
all the Latin players. I was thinking of like Urias and stuff like that. Yeah.
Instantly, I heard
Chase-
you, and I went
Chase
instantly
Utley
Chase
second.
Utley
Yeah,
at
let's
second
go with
base.
that. Yeah.
So you're welcome.
I'm pretty sure
Cheating.
I'm pretty sure I helped you.
I'm helping
with
you
McCracken,
cheat.
So
That's fair. That's fair. One help. All right, I got F.
oh, dude, there's.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm trying to think here for a
Is
second because
your
I'm trying to
DH
get a
still
good
open?
pick here.
Oh yeah, you should definitely go
Yeah.
with one.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Chicago White Sox native.
You got to, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Frank Thomas. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Albert Pujols, Tony Gwynn, and Frank Thomas hitting 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. Not in that order, but
Yeah.
I would probably. But that's crazy. That would be crazy. All right. Hey.
Okay. Dude, hold on. I gotta check. See if this starts with a K. I'm checking, bro.
Who? Why don't you just say it? It ain't a secret.
It doesn't. No.
Who were you
dude,
thinking?
This is what I'm thinking. Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. I don't know what
because
the
I'm
hell
trying to think
took
of
you
my
so long.
positions.
Yeah, but Now you have a Ty Cobb, Roberto Clemente, and Ken Griffey Jr. in your outfield
Yeah,
with Barry
solid.
Bonds at your DH. Oh my gosh, I got Y. I'm gonna go with Yomer Sanchez.
Go.
Just kidding.
Oh no, go.
I'm gonna go.
You got an
Y.
outfield spot open? Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah. I don't.
Bro,
I mean, I guess he does rake.
he
I'll go.
crushes
I'll go
balls from the left
Jordan.
side.
Yeah.
What
All right.
positions do I have open?
You got a W, and you need a first baseman, you need a shortstop, and you need a pitcher.
And okay, I'll go Walker Bueller for pitcher.
Okay, I'm liking that. I'm feeling pretty good about that pick. I think my team will rake Walker Bueller. And you got a lot of lefties, and you literally have a team full of lefties, and
I'm
I'm
not
throwing
worried
Randy
about it.
Johnson, bruh. Are
I got
you
Barry
good?
Bonds.
You should be. All right, I got an O, and I have third base, second base, and catcher. Second base.
Yeah.
Oh, I should be able
Orlando
to do
Cabrera.
something here. I'm going. This is tough. This is a tough game we did here. Oh.
Orlando Cabrera in his prime was not bad at second base.
Yeah, he's good, but that's not. How is there not more? I want to throw Ozzie Smith at like second base, but I can't because he's a shortstop.
Do you have third base open?
I gotta.
Bro.
Yeah, I need
just
third
freaking
base, second
slide
base,
Xander over
catcher.
Third. He's played third. Ozzie Smith at short. Oh,
No, I'm going Xander at third then, and I'm going
Okay.
Omar Vizquel
all right, so what do I have
at
open
shortstop. All right. You need a first baseman and you need a shortstop, and your letter is C. You lucky son of a bitch. Oh, but you know what? You're going to lose just for putting him on your team if you do it. Don't put Carlos Correa on your team.
Oh,
I'll
no,
never respect you ever
I wasn't.
again. All right, shortstop and first base. Letter C.
I'll go Corey Seager. No.
Corey Seager. I don't hate it.
Another lefty, though.
Yeah, you're fucked. Honestly, like just based
not
on
worried.
that, you're fucked. V.
What positions you got?
Catcher
Oh,
and second
good
base.
Catcher. Go Victor Martinez at catcher. Switch hitter.
Give me a second. Give me a second here. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of some second basemen that might be V. I want to go pitcher, and I just want to switch pitcher to Victor
You should do
Zambrano. And then it'd be a home run derby from your team. All right, I'll go Victor Martinez. That dude was a beast.
All right, last pick for first base.
Last pick, R.
Dude,
Dude, this game is
Yeah.
way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Should we have done last names? We should have done last names. All right. Well, we know for the future. But all right, R.
have to, dude.
You're looking up
Otherwise,
shit.
Freaking...
I was thinking Ryan
Yeah,
Howard.
Ryan Howard. I go with all Phillies. All Phillies, second base for.
Ryan Howard. Rod
I'll just go
Carew.
Ryan Howard, dude. Ryan Howard's solid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, overall, solid. All right, my last pick, second base.
What's the letter?
We're going to pretend like I didn't
Scrub.
get that letter. I got a V, bro. All right, V.
Well, there's
Bro,
some,
there's
but it's gonna
none.
be ass, and then I'm gonna win. That's why.
Bro, I got Randy
My
Johnson.
lefties are matchup proof.
First, that's probably not
Yeah,
true
but
if
you
we
probably
looked up
just
the
walk
numbers.
Barry Bonds every time.
First name player, second base,
Yeah.
V. This is ridiculous, dude. We should have that's on me.
An easier game.
We should have done we definitely should have done a V second baseman. Second
We could
now I'm
basically
just
throw out
curious at
any
this
sort of
point.
Hispanic name like Victor, whatever, and we just say
Second baseman, MLB that start with a V. Why don't they have this?
well, we
This
don't
should
have to
be
play
like a
this game
thing.
again.
Yeah, this is in all my games, I feel like this has been the biggest difficult. Oh, we got a bunch here. Oh my gosh, some of these names are just not second baseman. I don't think there's any.
All right, roll another one. There you go.
Victor Robles.
Just roll.
This is crazy.
Roll another.
What a
another letter.
Okay.
That way we're not
Let's
here
see
all day
if
with
let's
this.
see if
The last pick.
yeah, no shit. A. Alex.
Adalberto Mondesi. Raul Mondesi's kid. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Kansas City. Alex
There you go.
Cora. He played second base. Oh my
That game was
gosh.
rough.
What a grind. What a grind. All right, your final team. Yachty at catcher, Ryan Howard at first base, Chase Utley at second base, Corey Seager at shortstop, Nolan Arenado at third base, Ty Cobb at outfield, Ken Griffey Jr. at outfield, Roberto Clemente at outfield, Barry Bonds at DH, and Walker Buehler on the mound. Then we got my team, who's Victor Martinez catching, Albert Pujols playing first, Alex Cora playing second base, Omar Vizquel playing shortstop, Xander Bogaerts playing third base, Quentin McCracken playing outfield, Tony Gwynn playing outfield, Yordan Alvarez playing outfield, Frank Thomas DH, and the dog, Randy Johnson, on the mound, mowing yo hitters down. So let us know. I am not posting the video of us picking those teams, but I will post this little thing here. So let us know which team won, because that was
Quick
rough
games.
to get to. So we apologize for the people listening to this on Spotify or podcast or YouTube or Rumble, but we tried to do a TikTok game to make it a fun TikTok clip. Epic failure in terms of execution. Ended up a little pretty good debate there though. Like the teams are honestly kind of close. So we'll see if we get any traction. I'm hoping one of these days, one of these games blows up on TikTok. Maybe this will be the one.
Cool.
No.
No.
That's what I got. You got anything else? All right, let's call it a day. We're almost 5 minutes until you got to get your car. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Arm Barn Podcast. Follow everywhere. Guests next week.
Yep.
Guests starting next week. I'm going to be, setting up a bunch of guests. So, look out for that. Hopefully some good guys, join the show. But all right, everybody, have a good rest of your day. Have a good week. Later.